Today, we're talking about the importance of strategy. Hey, y'all, how you doing? My name is Geraldine Convento. I am from Reverence Media, and I'm here with.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Moreno-Deinzer, and I'm here from A La Mode Branding.
What is something that you can compare strategy to that's kind of like that people will get?
Yeah, because it's such a broad term, a very vague term. And I think when we talk to business owners, they feel like you're trying to sell them on like an idea or a dream instead of the actual tangible thing they need help with. And for me, I feel like a strategy is just a road map. You need to know where you're going so you know exactly what to pack in your car for that road trip.
Exactly. And let's even break down what strategy is.
Yes.
So, a strategy, from my perspective, is that you're going to work with a business coach or a marketing company or someone who's going to help you with your business growth. And they're going to understand all aspects of your business, even if it's not directly related to the campaign that they're
Mhm.
running. Because for us as consultants, we have like the outside eye with like the eagle eye. Right? We've
Yes.
worked with so many clients. We're able to see things that a business owner or a business team that's been working the business for so many years can't see. We may be able to inform the strategies that they hadn't even thought of. That I think that's what's really valuable about working with a team that's very strategic versus one that says, "Okay, this is what we're going to do. Just give us your logo, give us
Yeah.
all the graphic design assets, and we'll take it and run, and you'll get these results." And sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Like a lot of times when we are talking about strategy with the client, we break it down to very small steps of, okay, you came to me to work on social media. Why do you need to be on this platform? Who's looking at your stuff? And then that why is very important because then that helps us with like revenue streams. Okay, are we using social media to make money or just brand awareness? And then how long do we want to do this for? And so we ask all these questions as we're building out the strategy. And social media, of course, is just a small part of it, but we're building this out like milestone by milestone, where you want your business to be 5 years, 10 years from now. Also, how invested you are in your business. It's fun to work with clients and seeing them have these epiphanies as you have these strategic talks with them, right? And so we start asking questions about their lives and how does that work into their
Right.
revenue streams, and then how does that work with their actual overall like presentation of their business. And so that's what we talk about when we get into the nitty-gritty of like a strategy, right? Is really coming up with those tangible milestones.
Exactly. And you brought up something really important, which is the revenue
Mhm.
portion. That's so important because there's a few common things that I see with business owners who are usually solopreneurs or small teams.
Mhm.
And when it comes to their pricing, I notice that a lot of the pricing doesn't really match with what they need to be paying for, or like their goals don't really, there's no connection between the goals and what they're charging.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of this, and I used to be this way too. So,
Mhm.
so no shade on anybody who
Yeah. No.
sets their pricing based on feelings.
Right? All the mistakes we see you make is also the mistakes we made, so that's why we can see
Yeah.
them.
So it's like, I'll give an example because we do this with strategy clients a lot. And this is even before we get into the details of the marketing campaign. Okay, let's break out all of your revenue streams. And I see here that you want to make $100,000 in this one from this one aspect of your business. That's cool. Now let's break down the math. How long does it take you to do this particular part of your business? Who do you have to pay? How many of these do you have to sell to make that $100,000 goal? And if it's a very small priced item, I'm going to throw something out that's ridiculous, like $100. you know,
Mm,
then
yeah.
are you able in that calendar year to sell that many in order to hit that goal? There has to be a correlation between those numbers, as well as thinking about expenses and allocating funds toward marketing too, because that's going
Yeah.
to help you reach the people.
It's always fun to talk about revenue with business owners, especially when they have products that I don't want to say the products need to have a fixed cost, but they realize that And I'm not for people underselling, but the general public is not going to pay, I would say, $200 for a candle from someone they don't really know, right? They'll pay $200 if it's on like Goop or something, right? But you're coming up into the world, so they may only value your candles at like $20, $30, if that. Can you really make a living off of selling a candle for $20, $30? Sometimes it's yes, depending on people's background. I live in LA now, so I'm meeting more and more inheritance babies. So could do that. But sometimes they realize, oh, I can't, so I still need to work my 9 to 5. And I don't like killing people's dreams that way, but I need you to be able to pay your rent and mortgage. So like you
Right.
have to be
Yeah,
realistic
exactly.
about this.
And looking at your example about the candles at 20 or $30 a piece, and they want to make a living off of that, it's like, okay, great, you can, but what marketing methods and advertising methods and sales processes are you going
Mhm.
to need to implement in order to reach more people? And also make sure all of your inventory is fulfilled. Is your
Yes.
manufacturing on point for you to produce that much and be shipping everything? How are you going to sell this product and make sure your business is still running smoothly and have the amount of time that you personally want to be able to spend in your life? Because you and I have both seen in ourselves and other people, we get burnt out.
Yeah. We get burnt out or we get bored with whatever we're working on, especially if you are an entrepreneurial person. You may get bored of one project, then you want to go to another project. That's something else you need to recognize within yourself. Is this just your business for right now? Or is this something you're going to be tied to till retirement? And let's say
Right.
retirement is 65 and you're like 30. Do you want to do this for 35 years? And those are some other questions we ask people. It's like, how long do you actually want to do this for? And it's amazing how people haven't thought about their business being with them forever. I'm like, it's like a kid or a pet. It's going to be around for a while. So do you want it to be around for a while? And that's a big part of also like the strategy. It's like, how long do you want us to make this strategic plan for? Because a lot of times I'll make a strategic plan for like 5 years and then we'll check in on it and do another 5 years. If you are a bigger company and or a nonprofit and you have the money coming in or donors coming in, we could do strategic plan for like 10 years with a big check-in, every year and 5 years. But if you are a solo entrepreneur or your brand is a personal brand, you're not really selling a product or service, it's a lifestyle, if you will, then I would say a nice 5 year strategic plan and then checking in every year.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
a strategy is, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, strategies can also unlock or reveal bottlenecks while you're working with your strategist, whether they're a business strategist or marketing strategist. You might find that like, oh, this part of it really sucks, and I get really behind all the time on doing the proposals because I have issues with money. And like, okay,
Mhm.
well, can you create some sort of process so that part of it could be off your hands? Like, can you
Mhm.
get a virtual assistant who you just tell them like what do you want the outcome to be? How much shall this be? What services you're providing? What are the goals of the project? And then they put together your proposal. A strategy can also uncover what are the things you as a business owner are not supposed to be doing because that's what's
Mm.
blocking your money from coming faster or
Yeah.
growing your money.
And also because a lot of these business owners, their business is operations is all over the place. It's in Google Drive and a Dropbox,
Yeah,
like
then
a
they need to
planner.
go through the pain of creating the process. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You
Mhm.
get really embarrassed because everything's all over the place and maybe doesn't wouldn't make sense if you just showed it to somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of getting people to support you. They're not looking at it with the same emotions that you have. You mentioned earlier that we get really personal with clients, and thank God we have compassion, right?
Yeah.
We have compassion, we're
We have
empathetic,
empathy.
we we
Yeah.
can we can share our experiences and bring comfort and like make the situation not seem as heavy when we're
Mhm.
going through it. What I'm trying to say is that my documents and my all this stuff is all over the place. I need you to help me organize it, and this is the outcome. That person is not looking at it with the same emotions and feelings and
Mhm.
even judgment. They just want to get paid.
Yeah.
It's like, hell yeah, I'll do that for you. I'm getting paid $40 an hour, whatever it is, to help you do that. I could do this all day. Like
Yeah,
people would love
exactly.
to help you. And yeah, I've had that experience too. Not as much anymore, but
Mhm.
before, where clients will say, "Well, can we just take that part out of the proposal and then move forward with the other stuff?" And it's like, no, you can't. You
Yeah.
can't do that because
Yeah.
that's like it's sequential. So with everything you're implementing, what in digital marketing, whether it's website, SEO, ads, social media, press, media, whatever
Mhm.
you're doing, it's dependent upon a strategy.
And you can work with, business consultants, marketing consultants, whatever, any type of consultant. You can work with them without having to pay for a strategy, but then you need to have the strategy already in place. Because a lot of times when we work with clients, like if I don't have a strategy in place, whether you call it like your strategic plan or your marketing strategy or anything, then I don't know how to do my job because you're
Yeah,
expecting us to come in and somehow read your mind and also see the magical elements of your business because we're not going to see your businesses with the same love and admiration as you do because that's your business. That's like your project, your baby, if you will. Like it's not ours. It's cute, we'll think it's cute, but we're not going to look at it with that much love. So we do need some type of guidelines, right? And if you
yeah,
don't have those guidelines, then you have to sort of buck up and just realize that has to be part of what you're going to be paying for when you do work with a consultant because you do need that strategy in place. So that way not just for us to know where our job, but for you to know where you're going, for your team, even if you don't have a team now, like your future team, so they know where you're going with the business. It just keeps everyone on the same map.
if any business tries to skip strategy, they're going to have to do it eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that there are companies that provide digital marketing services and marketing consulting, and they'll jump to the thing you want to do, whether it's social media, SEO,
Mhm.
they'll ask you very high level information. They won't get into the nitty-gritty of the business, and they'll do what they know how to do.
Mhm.
But the thing is, I have found many business owners will say, I tried doing ads and I tried doing this and I tried doing that, and it was just a waste of money. And I say, well, did those companies ask you the same questions that I'm asking you? Did they have a sense of what your revenues are currently and where you're looking to go to? And I'll keep on going. And they'll say, no. Say, well, that was kind of the disconnect. Are you ready to work on it now and actually get the results that you need? Yeah. Because if you don't do it now, you do it later.
Yeah. Geraldine's putting them on the spot.
And I
No.
get it because sometimes business owners don't have the resources for a company that's more strategic, which is
Mhm.
okay. But if you move forward because you need something, you just have to know that the results are going to be what the results are. Like not have as many expectations and just know that, okay, I'm paying for this landing page and I'm paying for these little social media posts for now because I need something, knowing that I'm going to need to put money away so I can really invest full out on my biz later. So if you want to do it, it's okay. You just have to know that, like Nicole said, it's a band-aid and a wound that you're going to have to really spend some time, resources, and money fixing later.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the other things I was thinking about is that we work with clients, and who's ever watching this, if you feel this way, working with us about when it comes to your strategy doesn't necessarily mean we're asking our clients to stop their business. You can. I think a lot of times when I bring this up with clients, they get a little scared thinking they have to stop posting on social media or they have to stop selling or whatever. And it's like, no, no, no. Like You could keep doing your business as is, as we're creating the strategy, and then we could change it. Or if you want to make that decision as a business owner, you could put a whole stop to everything and just do the strategy and continue on. We're not asking you to completely stop everything right now.
Mhm.
It's just because we understand that maybe you do need to sell like every week at the farmer's market. So you bring in a couple $100 every week. We understand that. We don't want you to stop that. We'll work on the strategy while you're continuing to do that. A lot of times when clients do come, they they do want someone just to pretty much manage everything that's part of their business that they don't like. And if you are one of those people, you need funds for that. You need funds to hand everything you don't like about your business to someone else. But a lot of times when I hear people say that, I feel like there's a fear there. There's a fear that they're doing their business wrong. There's a fear that they're going to fail. So they sort of want to give it to someone else
Mm.
because that way they could blame someone else if it
Ah,
doesn't work, you know? There's like a scapegoat. And a lot of times when I'm working with people on their strategy, I'm like, this, all of these plans, these milestones, I can't make you do this. You have to do this, you know, unless you pay me to like create the post or do your website. Yes, the tangible things I'll do if you pay, but all these other stuff that requires mindset change and operational changes, if you don't do those, then you kind of expect the growth that we talked about. Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's also really important to acknowledge that with all of this, even with me, when I try things that I'm uncomfortable with, it's trial and error. It's
Yeah.
that's why it's important to track progress and run all this data. Do your social media, even if it's by yourself and someone just coached you through it. Do your social media for 3 to 6 months, because even if you don't produce any like new customers, you at least have the data to see if your content is interesting or what types of things are supporting your campaigns versus not. When it comes to marketing, it's a long game. uh,
Hmm.
there there's no immediate results unless you have huge budgets or unless you have, tons of people to support you or a strong enough belief, if we're being honest. There's been situations where I've worked with clients with awesome campaigns. They got, all the data proves they've gotten such great visibility.
Hmm.
However, when it came to the sales, it just didn't happen, and I don't unfortunately, I can't control that part. You know,
Yeah.
I once it comes to the sales conversation, sometimes that has to be on the business owner to make sure that what they're saying to the client is in alignment with what the marketing said. You also
Mhm.
have to have that confidence. My previous experience when I first started pitching to clients is that if I was feeling really uncomfortable and like unsure if they're going to move forward, those doubts didn't get me those contracts. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have the belief in yourself as a business owner, that's gonna come through with your business.
what's one strategy you, Nicole,
Mhm.
have implemented into your business over the years that has made your business more sustainable?
I would say when I had a team, open transparency. That was a big strategy, which I know sounds more of human resources, if you will, but I
Yeah,
was,
company culture.
Yeah, it was very company culture, but it was my team was remote. There was about 10 of us. I needed there to be, and by open transparency, it wasn't just like, oh, let's share our feelings. It was, I'm going to give you easy access to everything you need to log into to do your job. I'm going to make sure you have access to your contract at all times so you could refer to it. I'm going to show you where I want the articles updated. I'll give you logins to like the WordPress so you could upload your own article if there's ever a time where I'm like on a plane or I'm sick or something like that. When we had our meetings, I was being transparent of what I was doing. That transparency, allowed them to do their job easier and more efficiently, and then also made them feel a lot more comfortable just sharing with me as like the boss per se of anything that's going on with them personally that's maybe holding them back from their work.
It sounds like you really gave your teammates a sense of ownership,
Yeah.
in their job and their being able to produce their creativity through your magazine, also feeling comfortable to share. That's
Mhm.
really important. I'm sure
Yeah.
that that lent to people who want to continue working with you. Cool.
Yeah. What about for you?
Well, since I was a kid, I always wanted to own a business.
Mhm.
And so that was the main goal that I was looking to accomplish. And I finally accomplished that through the business I have now, Meet Geraldine, and
Mhm.
16 years ago. The reason why it was called Meet Geraldine is because it was just me.
Yeah.
So at that time, I was like, yes, I made it. I'm a business owner. But part of the reason why I wanted to become a business owner is so I can create free time for myself. Over the years of working 14-hour days and being really passionate about it, I was like, wait a minute, this ain't it. I'm tired. It's affecting my interpersonal relationship. I'm not really getting to spend time with my friends. And I wasn't really having it wasn't as fun. It got to that point. And so the strategy that I implemented was implementing team members, because
Mhm.
when I have team members, some of that work can be delegated to them. And also, what I found having team members is that the team members
Yeah.
often produce better results. So,
Yeah.
so because they're like taking your vision, they're taking all the processes and saying, "Hey, Geraldine, I know that we do it this way, but I think we should do it this way. It'll be a lot easier." And it's like, "Oh, yeah, go ahead, do that." The result of that 16 years later is that now I have a team and I have a lot of free time. So
Mhm.
that one decision to start bringing people on has totally transformed my life to now I can accomplish that same dream I had when I created this goal to become a business owner when I was a little girl. I'm like, I
Yeah.
actually have accomplished what I want to accomplish because of this one decision to bring on other people.
And I think that really just shows that you were thinking about your work-life balance, if you will,
Yes.
and just like your mental health, your priorities. And I love how you talked about you were working 12, 14-hour days. You were passionate about it. So it wasn't that you hated it, but you realized, oh, that I actually want to do other things with my life. I want to enjoy like my personal time and not feel like I have to be grinding all the time, even though I love this business. And I think that's such an important lesson for business owners to learn is that you can love your business. We're not saying don't work at it. If you work at it for 12 hours, you must hate it. It's like, no, you can love it. It's just you do have a whole life that you need to live.
Right.
And I think it's also like unlearning a lot of, I'm going to call it American or US work culture where it's just
Yeah.
like produce, produce, produce. I had to unlearn this. You must be like busy to be looked at as like
Worthy.
professional, yeah,
Yeah.
worthy or something. And I
Yeah.
realized I'm like, oh, I like having slow mornings and drinking tea and reading my book. And then I get to my laptop. We're fine, and having to unlearn
Yeah.
that.
Totally. Because when I grew up, the people around me worked for other people and they worked really hard. So I
Yeah.
thought, like, intrinsically, I just felt like that's how it's supposed to be. And I should be, not sleeping and to meet this deadline and, all
Mhm.
that stuff and overworking myself. But what I realized over time was that, wow, I have teammates now. And actually, I really need to get clear now that I have this headspace to think. I have to get clear
Mhm.
about what I want for myself and my life and my values. And
Yeah.
part of my values includes being able to connect with people like you. And I need time to do that.
Yeah.
I can't be working all the time if I want to build relationships and network with people or accomplish all these other things. So I think that's a big part of it too. Doing what you can to implement a strategy that accomplishes the thing that brings you closer to your values.
Tying it all up there. I like
Yeah,
that.
I'm a rapper, so
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Just in case none of y'all know that when you're logging this, you know, we have layers here, y'all. So, all right. So stay tuned, everyone. We're going to have a lot more conversations and we'll see you all later on the internet.